Welcome to Finding Home, a podcast about life, change, and what it really means to feel at home here at St. John's United. This is where we share real stories about what life is like in senior living. You'll hear from residents, their families, and the staff who support them. If you're thinking about a move for yourself, someone you love, or just want to know what life here is really like, these conversations offer honesty, advice, and reflections on what it means to be welcomed into a community that's here for you through one of life's more unexpected and challenging changes, finding a new place to call home. Because at St. John's United, home isn't just a place. It's the people and the moments that make life worth living. And there is so much life to live. I'm Erin, your host and occupational therapy student working with St. John's United. Today I'm joined by Donna, a current resident of the Vista, who's here to share her story about her move from Mission Ridge to the Vista and all the life in between. Hi, Donna. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I am excited to learn from your experiences. Why don't you start by kind of telling us a little bit about yourself?
I grew up in Minnesota, just inside the North Dakota border, um, just east of Moorhead, Minnesota. I grew up on a farm. I'm the youngest of 9
Wow.
children.
Sounds like it's a lot of kids to feed and keep up with and entertain.
Yes, yes, yeah.
So did you live in Moorhead your whole life?
We moved to 2 different farms when I was young, and then late when I was a teenager, we moved into a little town. Did my high school years.
Okay. Are you a Minnesota Vikings fan?
Yes, I
Being
am.
from the state? Atta
Yes, I
girl.
am. Yeah.
Nice. So did you eventually leave home and go to college, or what did your professional career look like?
I did, after graduating from high school, I went to Minneapolis to go to the College of Medical Technology, which I learned how to be a medical technician. So I did that, and then I it was a 1 year school, like a VOTech kind of.
Okay.
Then I got my first job in North Dakota,
Nice.
and I worked there for a year. And the only reason I did it only for a year is one of my sisters, who was married with 2 children, got pneumonia, and I felt like I should go and help take care of the children while she recovered. So I quit that job at the end of a year, and then went and stayed with my sister and her husband for a while. And then I went to look for other work. I applied at the VA in Fargo. They had no openings, but they had one in Miles City, Montana.
Ah,
So that's how I got to Montana.
okay. Were you married when you moved to Montana, or did you
No,
meet
no,
Mr. Right here?
no, I was young and single when I came to Miles City.
Wow, what a place to be young and single.
Of course, I was planning on only living there like 6 months and then moving somewhere else, but that never happened.
Oh, shoot. So you actually went back and got your master's
I
in,
did. When I was in the laboratory for a few years, we would hire medical technologists to work in the lab, and I would look at them and I thought, they know a lot more than I do. I want to know what they know. So I went to a program from Central Michigan University. They had a program called Campus Without Walls, and it was for medical technologists, pharmacists, nurses, anyone who wanted an advanced degree. And it took 10 3-credit courses to get my master's in hospital management and administration. Then I shifted from the laboratory to clinical administration. I did that for 12 years.
you are one smart cookie, my friend. A very well-educated lady. What does such a smart gal like yourself like to do in your free time now that you're retired?
One of the things I got into the day after I retired, I retired on a Friday. On a Monday, I was on my way to Bozeman to go to the planetarium because I really liked the sky.
Oh,
And when I was there, I discovered they had an astronomy club. So I joined that. And so every month I went to Bozeman and we looked at the stars. And then a couple of times a year, we would have a stargazing party which means you go to a very dark place on the earth, some place back in the woods, or not woods necessarily, but hills where there's no electricity,
Okay.
so that the sky is dark and you can see all the constellations. And that was so fun. And another thing I did that took a lot of time was I knew I was always interested in my family's genealogy, especially my mother's. So I got into that. I joined a genealogy club and searched my ancestors, both on my father and mother's side. I did that for a lot of years. And in addition to what I like to do, I like to go for walks and just be outside.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that so much anymore now, but like going to a ball game. I've got oodles of young friends that play sports, and I would love to go to their baseball games or football games or flag football games.
Yes, the littles.
So anything that is outside, I like a lot.
Awesome. And now you watch sports on TV
Yes, I
when you
do.
can, right? Okay.
Yes.
Luckily, there's lots of sports all the time, it seems like.
Oh, there are more than I've got time to watch.
Well, beautiful. Thank you for sharing all that, Donna. You are, again, well educated and have so many different hobbies. I love it. Keeping yourself busy.
Very busy. Yes.
So let's talk about the move that you made into senior living and this St. John's United experience. Kind of tell me, as much as you want to, why you made the move into senior living.
Well, I made the move not by my choice, but by my doctor's choice. I moved into Mission Ridge, which is independent senior living, and I loved it. I'd been on the waiting list for 2 years, and I moved in 1st of August of last year, 2024. And the very next month, I had some major back issues, compression fractures in the vertebrae of my thoracic spine. It happened spontaneously. It wasn't like I lifted too much or moved too much. The doctors say there's two things that cause compression fractures. One is old age, and the other is osteoporosis. And I happen to have both.
Oh, shoot.
So in September, I fractured two thoracic vertebrae. I had to have a lot of therapy, and I went over to transitional rehab, and I was an inpatient for a while. I had a lot of physical therapy, and then I had the kyphoplasty, which is, in layman's term, they call it a cement fix, where they pound powder into the fracture site in your vertebrae to heal the fracture. And so I had that done for both of those vertebrae. And then that went fine. And I was discharged back to um, Mission Ridge. And then the 1st of November, I fractured another thoracic vertebrae and another kyphoplasty, went back to rehab. And my own doctor said that I could no longer live independently. I had to move to assisted living. So I moved not on my choice, but by hers. But I certainly have no regrets over that. I mean, they gave me the treatment I needed to get well. I moved in the end of November, Thanksgiving time of last year, 2024, taking a lot of pain medicine every day, and as much as every 4 hours, in fact.
Wow.
And then I had a lot of physical therapy and occupational therapy. And by the 6th of February, I no longer needed any pain medicine.
That is fantastic, Donna. Holy cow.
It is amazing, I think. And I give all the credit to the therapy I had. And after the therapist finished with their routine treatment of me, they referred me to doing the chair exercises there at Vista. And so I've been doing them ever since, Monday through Friday. They're a half-hour class, and It's like sort of like aerobics, but you're sitting in a chair.
Okay. I like that they still gave you something so they didn't just drop you off the therapy caseload and say, good luck, see ya.
No, they continued to monitor how I was
Mhm.
doing. Mhm.
Good. So you went through a lot of life changes and moves in that very short time span last year.
I did. I didn't even move myself to my apartment at Vista. I use this Transitions with Care. Her name is Bethany, and she does a lot of work at St. John's, Mission Ridge, and Vista. She's not employed by them. She's has her own business, but she totally moved everything from Mission Ridge over to my apartment at Vista. She did my estate sale for my home, and she was a tremendous help. My family and I just kind of stood back and let her do everything.
Wonderful.
It was great. Yeah.
So I haven't been through it myself, so I can't speak for it, but I imagine it's could be a pretty stressful time and having to decide what do I keep, what do I take,
Yeah.
what do I get rid of? All that's your house.
Well, and the big thing is you're moving into 600 square feet,
Yeah.
which like, okay, what do I take? What can I take? My furniture in my house was all too big
Hmm.
for my little living room.
Yeah.
So it meant getting new furniture and or different furniture and not bringing much with me because nothing fit. So it's a big change,
It is.
but it was nice that someone else took the responsibility of doing it.
Did this Transitions with Care company physically move your furniture for you as well?
No, I had Aaron's back do it,
Okay.
and they are outstanding. They arrive on time. They carry, load and unload everything in the shortest time imaginable, and they place it in your new apartment exactly where it should be, and
Wow.
they are very good.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like overall the move went well
It went very well.
because we're all human and life happens. Were there any challenges with this move? Because again, lots of big changes for you in a short time.
At the beginning of the move, I was in a lot of pain, so I really was no help for anything. But the challenge is learning all the policies that you live with when you move into assisted living
Mm-hmm.
or even any senior living. They have policies that you have to follow, and sometimes you have to learn them by mistake. You've made a
Fair.
mistake, and they'll let you know, and then you don't do that again.
It's kind of like moving into a college dorm. I would almost equate it to.
It would be probably, yeah.
Yeah, they've got all their different rules and things that they want you to follow.
Hmm. And they're very specific, especially with medications. Like you at home, you've always had your, say, bottle of Tylenol or anything that you would buy over the counter, Tums, or any of those things. There's a policy on that
Ah,
at at Vista that no, you can't do that. Your doctor has to write an order, and then it can be done.
gotcha. So it's figuring out what their system is to
Mhm.
still get what you need when you need it, but
Yes,
make them happy.
yes. And it's worked out once I'm learning more about it and having them correct me a lot. I'm getting the hang of it, and it's working out well.
So now that you've figured out what all the policies and procedures are and how to act accordingly, what does a typical day look like for you at the Vista, Donna?
Number one, a typical day, we get 3 meals a day in the dining room, so that's something I don't want to miss. So I go down to the dining room like 8, 12, and 5, and they wait on you just like you would be in a restaurant. You sit at any table you want, and they come and wait on you.
Nice.
And so that plus then in the morning, Monday through Friday, I do the chair exercises. And then it seems like after 10 o'clock, there's just a number of things, activities that are they offer that you can go to. It could be something as simple as they call it, I think, coffee with friends or something. And just an opportunity to sit around and get a visit and get acquainted with the residents there at Vista. Just that informal contact with the other residents, I find so important because it doesn't take long that you feel like you're part of a family. The people that come that live there, and there aren't that many. There's like really only, I think, 62 rooms, and many of them have just one person living in, but several now, there's more and more husband and wives moving in, but there's still likely less than 100 people there. You just want to get to know them. And the best way to do that is to participate in any of the activities that they do, like bingo.
Yes.
and and then there's a lot of music events. There's some good musicians in Billings that come. In fact, right now, or what I missed while I was here, was a cello trio, a symphony cello trio that was
Yeah.
performing this morning and at Vista.
Oh, shoot.
And yeah,
Stole you away.
I've seen them. I've seen them. You've heard them before, so it's okay. But there's so many. They publish an activity list, just like they publish the menu for the whole week. They publish an activity list. All the activities can interfere with nap time.
Dang it.
So sometimes I take a nap instead of going to something. Sometimes I play bingo and sometimes I don't. And there's lots and lots of tables that have jigsaw puzzles on them.
Oh,
People
yes.
are very much into jigsaw puzzles. I haven't started that yet because I know that once I would start, I'd be hooked, and so I try and do other things.
Sounds like you have a lot of flexibility. Like you set your schedule. There's not somebody saying, Donna, be here at this time and do this exact thing. You live your life like you would at home, just in a different context.
Yes, and you pick and choose what events you want to take in,
Hmm.
and which I do. I don't go to all of them, of course, but the nice thing is, we're invited to any entertainment that goes on over at Mission Ridge. One of my favorite things is once a month they have karaoke,
Oh,
and that is so fun to go to. There's some amazing voices. They volunteer, people will raise their hand and say, well, I'll sing that song. And then they do. And like I say, there are some amazing voices. And it's one of my favorite things to go to.
do you get up there and sing?
I do not.
Oh, dang it.
I just listen to other people.
That's great. People watching. You can't go wrong with that.
No, and it's fun, but there are many things
Mhm.
that are so fun to go to.
And you were just telling me earlier off podcast that your son came to visit and you guys got to go all over town. So you leave campus
Yes,
whenever as much as you want and you still do things. Is that
yes.
accurate? Okay.
And one thing that the campus offers that's very good for us, most of us don't drive anymore that are at Vista, and there's van service that take us to our appointments. They don't all have to be medical. It could be a hair appointment downtown for
Mm,
your your favorite hairdresser, or or it could be um, a trip over to Costco or to Albertsons, and they'll drop you off and leave you there for, like, say, an hour or something, and come back and pick you up.
nice.
Hmm.
I like that. You're not stuck on campus by any means. You
No,
can still,
and when my son
yeah.
was here, we did, because he had a rental car, so he wanted to drive around Billings too and see what was new.
Hmm,
It was a good visit.
wonderful. I'm glad he made the trip.
Yeah.
So, the last thing I want to talk about, Donna, is I mean, the pros and cons of getting older. Senior living is maybe something that's going to be on the table for a lot of folks. So, are there pieces of advice you would give to somebody who's debating making the move, or maybe a family member who is going to support someone moving into senior living?
I think it is just so important to socialize,
Mm,
to don't isolate yourself. I think it's so important for your mental health to visit with people and maybe have somebody that wants to walk with you. And one of the good things that Vista and Mrs. Midge is the duck pond. Of course, you always want to walk by the duck pond, but there's things you can do outside, and there's card games you can play. I don't even know the name of them because I don't play cards, but there's people that are really into that, and they seem healthier to me when they're active in a group.
I think your comment about mental health and socializing kind of going together is so true.
Mhm.
We're social people by nature, or most of us are. Humans are anyways.
Yeah,
So there's just a lot to be said about having someone just next door that you can go talk to.
yeah.
Even if you're having a good day, a bad day, you want to talk about what was on the news and, whatever it might be. So I think you're absolutely onto something.
Just even watching all the residents, it's so important when you see a table full and they're telling stories and they're laughing and they're just having a great time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Overall, are you glad you made the move into senior living?
I am because of my condition.
Mhm.
I would like to be in perfect health so I didn't need that help? Yes, that would be my preference, but that's not the way life is sometimes.
Right.
And so I think that senior living, assisted living is definitely very a good way to live when you have some mobility problems and can't function 100% because there's always the CNAs there are so good. The nurses are too, but the CNAs in any place, they're the hands-on workers,
Yes.
and the help is very good.
Well, Donna, thank you for sharing all of that. I think your points about getting out to socialize are important. And then also your comment about knowing the policies and procedures is so true because it's going to be the best way to get to know the community you're in and kind of get settled in and get a new routine established in a place that hopefully is going to feel like home. May not first, but hopefully eventually it does.
You're right. It takes a while
Mhm.
because usually when you first moved in, you're not in the best health. You
True.
moved in there for a reason. It takes a while to get established into what would be an active, normal, like your life at home or something, other
Sure.
than you need help.
Sure. Yeah. It's not how you would run your life at home, but you just kind of adjust and you make do and make it into home.
Yeah, when you can't do things for yourself like you'd want to, you need a place to live like Vista. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you made the move and your back is staying strong.
Yes, me too. Very glad.
Awesome. Well, Donna, thank you for your time today and sharing your story. I hope some folks will listen and learn from it and be inspired.
Well, I hope so too.
Awesome. Thank you, Donna.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for spending time with us here on Finding Home. If you enjoyed this conversation or thought of someone who might connect with it, we would love for you to share it with them. Every episode tells a different story about what it's like to find home when life changes, and we hope you'll listen to the others and be part of the journey with us. Special thank you to Rock 31, the team at Big Sky Economic Development, and St. John's United for making this project possible. Cheers to living life wherever you call home.